How are you today, children of the Most High God? This is Pastor Francis MUSONDA from Life Path Worship Center in Ibex Hill, Lusaka, Zambia, broadcasting from Radio Christian Voice as we continue on the prophetic theme for the month, which is Praise Engenders Breakthrough, and continues to be the gods that hinder Judah, the gods that hinder praise. We learned last week that gods represent sin in the Bible. We also learned about the characteristics of gods. We said gods are not supposed to be found in the presence and in the character of a child of God. Today, we look at Judah. Judah, which means praise, the master of worship, the master of praise. We're taking our scripture context from Genesis chapter 38. And I'm going to jump a number of scriptures. If you have time, you can read from verse 1 all the way to the end. I am going straight to verse 13. When Tamar was told, your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep, she took off her widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance of Enem, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that though Shelah had grown up, she had not been given to him as his wife. Judah saw her, and he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Not realizing that she was the daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you." And she asked him, "What will you give me to sleep with me?" 17. Judah responds, "I will send you a young goat from my flock." "Will you give me something as a pledge, sir? Please, until you send the young goat?" she asked him. He said, "What pledge should I give you?" She answered, "Your seal and its cord, the staff in your hand," she responded. So he gave her the things that she requested, and he slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. And after that, she left. She took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah sent the young goat by his friend Adullam, and in order to get his pledge back from the woman, the collateral that he had left, but his friend Adullam did not find the girl. She had already left. "Where is a shrine?" The prostitute was beside the road by Enem. "There hasn't been any shrine or prostitute here," everybody responded. So he went back to Judah and said, "I didn't find her. Besides, the men who lived there said there hasn't been any shrine or prostitute there." Verse 23, then Judah said, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughingstock trying to find her and locate her. After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution. As a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "According to the law, bring her out and have her burned to death." As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law, "I am pregnant by the man who owns this collateral that I'm holding, the ring, the staff." She said, "I am," and she added, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff that these are." Judah recognized them and said, "She is more righteous than I am, since I wouldn't give her to my youngest son." And he did not sleep with her again. Child of God, it is very important that we understand this topic in its context. We're dealing with the god of immorality. The price for the sex that Judah wanted to get from his daughter-in-law, and he did not know at this point, was to send her a young goat. He was supposed to send her a young goat, and he did. She had taken collateral from him. She had taken his ring. She had taken his staff. Until you bring me the young goat, I am holding on to these things. The god of immorality. People that lead praise in churches, people that lead worship in churches, people that love God, usually get attacks from the god of immorality. I'm sure you've heard stories many a time told that there was a scandal in this choir. The pastor made the girl who was leading worship pregnant, and so forth and so forth. You may laugh, but the level of attack on these people that have taken the place of Satan to lead the children of God into worship is immense. There's so many attacks. I came to tell you today that the god of immorality is alive, and it's attacking a lot of Christians today, especially those that lead praise and worship. The god of immorality, the one that made Judah exchange his staff, exchange his ring, exchange the cord. What for? With his daughter-in-law. He did not even know she was the one posing to be a prostitute. There are reasons why she did what she did, and we'll get into this discourse further in the next episode as we find out Judah's reaction to this treachery. This is Pastor Francis MUSONDA from Life Path Worship Center in Ibex Hill, Lusaka, Zambia. And if you're looking for a place of worship on Sunday, come join us opposite the U.S. Embassy in Ibex Hill. We meet from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Shalom, shalom. How are you today, children of the Most High God? This is Pastor Francis MUSONDA from Life Path Worship Center in Ibex Hill, Lusaka, Zambia, broadcasting from Radio Christian Voice as we continue on the prophetic theme from the month.